Hello everyone. Well, this is where I'm from, a heritage swimming pool here in Cheltenham. Swimming pools generally at the moment are really struggling. They're struggling financially like a lot of businesses, but we're also a really big consumer of energy in order for them to operate efficiently. So in 2022, we started to analyse what we could do going forward. We've always looked ahead. The pool itself has been heated from day one. It started with coal, went to oil, it's now on gas. But on top of that, we've got heritage pumps and motors that are grade 2 listed, so we can't just rip them out and put in modern ones. So we've got to try and look at the site being as energy efficient as possible with the equipment that we have. So we had a decarbonisation plan written up for us that always starts with looking at what you've got and reducing the amount of energy that you're using with your current machinery and equipment. So we've gone through that process, and that's also involved things like our fountain is part of our filtration system. It's an iconic feature of the Lido, but it's throwing heated water into the air. Now, other Lidos have cut them off, turned them into flower beds, but we know it's part of someone's experience, it's their mental well-being when they're on site as well, hearing that fountain. So we've been able to redirect that water at night time so that when it's at its coldest, it's going straight into the pool and not over the fountain, but it's there during the day. So there's things you can do even with a heritage facility. But it then led us on to the biggest project that we wanted to do. That's a little of what I've just said. I wasn't clicking fast enough. So yeah, there's two reasons: the carbon footprint and also the energy costs for the Lido. So we set about on the next major project, which was solar and generating solar, so that we could reduce our electricity costs. But that would lead into our next project. We were going to split them so that we weren't doing them all at the same time. So we wanted to generate more electricity at the Lido. We first put solar panels onto our main fountain roof, then we ran out of roof space that we could use because we're a Lido, and we looked at other concepts that we could do. We've got a lovely big car park. So the next thing was looking at carports and putting a huge array of solar panels on top of the carports, and that would help power us. Significant amount of money. So then we were looking for grants to help us on that journey, and that's when we found Cheltenham Zero, and we applied for £10,000 towards the project and received that. And we started the project in October last year, and it was to tackle a few things. So our original car park, you had to put your life in your hands to try and cross it to get to our front gates because there was no safe pedestrian crossing. So it didn't really encourage people to arrive at our gates other than by a motor vehicle. So improve the cycle access as well, so that cyclists could arrive safely. A safe queuing area for visitors coming to the Lido, to bring in some EV charging as well, and solar PV on the carports, and then some soft landscaping to try and break up the harshness of those carports. But also, the footpath that we've put in is an old heritage pathway that was there originally, and then motor cars took over, and everybody was kind of encouraged to travel that way. But that pathway again has a lot of soft landscaping on it, which really adds to someone's enjoyment when they're approaching the site. Now, the solar PV for this was going to generate 93% of our site's electricity, which is huge. But what we wanted to do was get it up and running for the first year, and then spend this summer evaluating the data. Because until it's in, you don't really envisage everything that it's going to give you. So now we're in that process of analysing the data, and then that will lead on to our next move. So rather than install batteries straight away, we're looking at using our pool as a heat dump. So the excess electricity we have, we don't want to just send it back to the grid. We want to use that on site if we can. And so we're looking at whether that will be air source heat pump or literally a heater that will heat our pool water so that our gas doesn't need to kick in as often, and our gas boiler will stay on site, but it will be there more as a backup. So we'll know our next move later on this summer. This actually hasn't got it all in. It was hard to get an aerial shot that's got it all in because we've kind of spread it out. But this is our largest array that goes straight away down here. That's our new pathway with bricks, with people's comments in. My swans, thankfully. New cycle storage reactor here, and then we've got our finished carport at that end, closest to our plant room. The design was meant to fit in as many car park spaces, but also having all of those other things so that it works for everybody, and as many solar PV panels as possible to harness the sun's energies. Now, this obviously was a collaborative thing. We also received grants from other bodies as well, but I have to say that when it comes to applying for funding, sometimes it can be really, really arduous, but your team were great and really, really helpful in the process, which was fantastic. It's a fairly new system to us, so the data we are still generating, but we've got very similar to yours in terms of what you end up with, but just over 19 tonnes of coal saved, and we haven't been turned on that long, so we're looking from April this year, so it has been gloriously sunny ever since.
Yes.
Long may that stay.
A great first year.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, if anyone's got any questions, I'm happy afterwards to chat.